When Senate candidate Roy Moore of Alabama came hat in hand to Capitol Hill last month to ask his state's senior Republican for help raising money, Sen. Richard C. Shelby had a blunt reply. "I told him he could raise it himself, like I did, like everybody else," said Shelby, who has about $10 million cash in his campaign account, with no prospects of a competitive re-election. The striking rebuff was no surprise to those who know Shelby well. Since the surfacing of allegations of Moore's sexual misconduct, Shelby has publicly bucked President Trump and the rest of Alabama's statewide Republican leaders by vocally opposing Moore's candidacy, which he warns could hurt the state he has spent his life transforming. "He thrives on controversy, seems to me. And I think you can't be a formidable, effective senator if you're so controversial your colleagues avoid you," Shelby told The Washington Post in an interview last week, after casting an absentee ballot for an unnamed Republican write-in candidate instead of Moore. "That's the bottom line." Shelby took that same message to the national airwaves on Sunday, telling CNN's State of the Union that the accusers against Moore, including a woman who says he touched her sexually when she was 14, are believable. "I think Alabama deserves better," Shelby said. The two men have moved in similar circles for decades, working together at times. Both are strictly anti-abortion, support conservative fiscal policies, tougher immigration rules and favor loosening rules on gun ownership along with increased military spending. Both men favor getting rid of the Senate rule that requires 60 votes for most legislation to pass. When Moore sparked a legal crisis by displaying the 10 Commandments in a state courthouse, Shelby worked with Moore to introduce the Constitution Restoration Act, a bill that would have blocked the federal judiciary's ability to prevent federal employees from acknowledging God as the sovereign source of law, liberty, or government. But Shelby says he had concerns about Moore long before the allegations of sexual misconduct. One concern was Moore's willingness as a judge to disobey judicial orders with which he disagreed, a tactic that led state officials to twice remove Moore from the bench. "At one time, I was a U.S. magistrate in my day, a young guy, and I believe in the rule of law," said Shelby. "I disagree with a lot of court decisions, and even a lot of statutory things I don't like, but still it's the law." Another Shelby concern is the effect that Moore's candidacy, and possible election, would have on the reputation of a state. Over 30 years, through earmarks and other legislative maneuvering, Shelby has directed hundreds of millions of dollars to Alabama to help recreate it as a forward-leaning, business-friendly destination for the high-tech manufacturing, biotechnology and aerospace industries. "I think the image of anything matters," Shelby said. "It's not 1860, it's not 1900. It's not 1940, it's not 1964 or 1965. It's 2017.